or recommendations and do's and don'ts, but we wish to ultimately conclude with something that is in the best interest of all the students. So for that reason, your active participation is very earnestly solicited. And let's start, students. So I would not try to take much of time on the theoretical aspects of it, but very quickly, there are some common terms that we have been listening to every point of time. Please present your profile, or please share your biodata, or if you could please share your resume, or we wish to have your CV. So there are different terms, out of which biodata is something जो हम कम सुनते हैं. But yes, resume, CV, and profile are certain terms that we often come across. So what is the precise difference between these three things, right? So many of you would say perhaps biodata is more of a personalized document and we do not use it in professional context. Not always, friends. Biodata can be used in professional context also. When you are seeking certain types of projects, certain types of assignments, certain types of grants or sponsorship, seeking for research or seeking for a particular set of role, जैसे government departments में, public sector undertakings में, और किसी scheme के तहत या for some sort of program that has been launched by any of the governing bodies, ऐसे केसेस में जो आप फर्निश करते हैं वहां पे आपको अपनी बायोग्राफिक डिटेल्स भी देनी पड़ती है, द सोशल ग्रुप यू कम फ्रॉम, or even if to mention the caste or the section of the society you come from, the details pertaining to your education, your age, gender, ये चीजें वहां important हो जाती है where you're seeking some sort of entry into these projects, which are generally those kind of welfare projects or those kind of research projects or those kind of grants based projects जो आप गवर्नमेंट से सीख करना चाहते हैं या ऐसी बॉडी से that support or that sponsor or endorse these types of assignments. Coming back to what is actually needed for us, for particularly you people as engineering graduates or management graduates, or as a matter of fact, any professional degree program, I would suggest we should try to have a resume. And if we are very active and we are very versatile, you've got a very interesting profile, there are a lot of activities that you have been engaged in, तो आप इसे CV का form भी दे सकते हैं. But with that, I would first like to hear from any of you, if you can write in the chat box, what is CV according to you? आप सिर्फ एक छोटा सा response chat box पे लिख सकते हैं. Trust me, I do not want you to write any response that you sourced from internet. Your immediate interpretation of what is a CV. There are lots of friends in this group. Anyone, if you wish to write in the chat box what is a CV, that could help us make you understand that how do we plan, if we are planning on the lines of preparing a CV or we are planning on the lines of preparing a resume. Very quickly, friends, can we get some responses in the chat box? Okay. Jagdish writes, the reflection of oneself on a paper in a systematic way. I really like this phrase, reflection of oneself. So you wish to say, and it should be something that gives a clear understanding of who you are when somebody tries to go through a document. Right, Jagdish? And if I try to understand how does it differ from resume, Jagdish? Because even resume, we are trying to put something about ourselves on, on a document. Okay, Purvang, that CV is reverse chronological order of education. Okay, Purvang, that is one component of your CV. I would not say it is the entire CV. But yes, education is a very important section that needs to be furnished very methodically in your resume or CV. Okay, Akram Khan writes something that describes the whole course of your career or your previous experience regarding the job you're applying. Right, so many of you have come to some sort of responses. Friends, very quickly, we write as CV is a Latin term. It means the course of life. अगर हम इसके actual interpretation पे जाएं, it is a Latin term that says course of life. Now, this word itself is self-explanatory. When I say course of life, that means it is a detailed document. All your professional journey has to be presented in this document in detail, as in the job roles that you have shouldered, the job title, the major responsibilities, your achievements, accomplishments, projects. तो CV एक डिटेल डॉक्यूमेंट है, शायद हमारे लिए एटलीस्ट इस वक्त रेलेवेंट नहीं है, क्योंकि most of you either do not have a work experience or you might have a very brief work experience. So we do not have that substantial or that detailed kind of a professional life that you are going to present in your CV. So हम ये समझ लेते हैं कि अभी हमें जो prepare करना है, that is a resume. Resume is a French word that corresponds to summary. So what we furnish in a resume in 1 and maximum 2 pages. Resume should never exceed 2 pages. Yes, sure. I mean, none of the experts would say that prepare a resume beyond 2 pages. In fact, the ideal size is between 1 to 2. Okay. So CV is more detailed. It is generally 3 pages. It may even go up to 4 pages. CV may have multiple annexures also. CV is a detailed document which generally is prepared by the people who have a significant work experience. On the contrary, resume is prepared by people who are relatively new or who do not have that kind of a significant, substantial professional experience. But resume is a document where you furnish all the essential details related to your career aspirations, your qualifications, your work experience, your internships, your projects, your post-scholastic engagements, your major accomplishments and achievements, your memberships and affiliations, and the academic and co-academic honors that you have earned. थोड़ा ज़्यादा लंबा sentence हो गया ना एक बार में? Nothing to worry. We will keep breaking all these sections in different segments and we'll spend time discussing about all. Fairly quickly, I wish to have a yes or no in the chat box. Have you been able to understand why are we preparing a CV, not a resume, not a CV for you? हम क्यों कह रहे हैं कि आपको resume बनाना चाहिए? I hope that is clear. And I'm sure this is also clear. What is the difference between resume and CV? Right. So friends, today we are going to talk about resume precisely. Now, you may have different formats, different type of layouts, different approaches to design a resume. I would suggest you only those sections जो किसी भी resume में होने जरूरी. How would you place it? Do you like to put it? You know, some people start a resume with a small summary in a slide bar. Left corner पे या right corner पे they'll present you know a rectangle, a vertical rectangle as a slide bar. और उसके अंदर they write a small summary. Some people take a small text box और उसमें अपनी summary लिखते हैं और एक side पे qualifications लिखते हैं. Some people write qualifications in tabular format. Other people may prepare a table but dissolve the borders. तो टेबल के बॉर्डर्स नहीं दिखते हैं बट रिज्यूमे टेबल में क्वालिफिकेशंस टेबल में लिस्टेड है. Some people would try to write it in running format. So I am not being particular about what way do you present it. First, we will discuss on what all should you ensure that you include in your resume and what you should avoid while preparing a resume. And having said that, friends, I would keep on guiding you throughout the session. If there are certain sections जो आपके resume में relevant नहीं लग रहा है आपको क्योंकि आपके पास हो सकता है you don't have any important or relevant information to furnish, like suppose it is affiliations or memberships. You may come up saying, ma'am, I'm not a member or I'm not affiliated to any of these important professional bodies. तो कुछ ऐसी चीजें जो आपके पास नहीं है. You may take up certain things in the next 1 or 2 months, maybe some certifications, some memberships, affiliations. So I'll talk about each of the section. You may write in the chat box if you do not have anything relevant or pertinent to mention or furnish in this section. How can we utilize the next few weeks or months to ensure that something can be presented in our individual sections of our resume? Okay. So first thing generally which needs to be on the top of every resume is your proper contact information. But when I say that, people please note in your diaries, आप कभी भी resume के ऊपर या CV के ऊपर लिखेंगे नहीं resume और curriculum writing. ये crime है. हम ये assume कर रहे हैं the one who's evaluating or assessing our resume is illiterate and uneducated. उसे पता है ये resume है. वो आपसे कुछ और क्यों मंगवाएंगे? When they are soliciting a document from you, it essentially has to be a resume. The first thing that you have to remember is please do not write resume or CV as the title of your document. Your document should essentially start from your contact information. When I say contact information, the first thing would be your name, your complete name. If you have a middle name, if you have your name that has 2 or 3 sections to it, please ensure that you write your complete name, followed by your contact information, which I'll explain you in the next sections. How do we write that? So a proper contact information. A summary section is essential. When I say this, students, I would like you to understand, अब normally हम resume में objectives नहीं लिखते हैं. But this is not the era where we actually write an objective in the resume. There are various reasons. There are, logical reasons why we say that you should avoid writing objective. Rather you should write a summary, sort of write or a brief description of who you are, what are you aspiring for, and what do you have in your credentials to offer to the company. What can you bring to the table? Okay? हम इसके बारे में भी डिटेल में बात करेंगे. If you have a work experience which is substantial, तो पहले आप वो लिखेंगे. Otherwise, आप education को experience से पहले लिखेंगे. When I say that, I mean to say your education would always be the first section if you do not have a major work experience. In case by any reasons you have been fortunate to have a good work experience, then education would proceed. No, succeed. It would not proceed. So work experience और education is interchangeable in positions. Depend करेगा अगर आपका work experience है तो पहले वो आए, फिर education आए. Otherwise, in general circumstances, सबसे safe approach ये होती है कि आप पहले education लें. It is the safest approach to first write a summary and then write your education. उसके बाद come to your work experience. Now, suppose if you do not have a major work experience, then what I would suggest is take education section, education के बाद अब उससे related co-scholastic engagements like internships, projects, and the trainings that you have been on. Wherever you have been on the job kind of assignments or experiential learning assignments, please mention that immediately after education. आपकी 2-3 internships जो भी हैं उनकी details आनी चाहिए. The major projects that you have taken should be there. The dissertations that you have submitted should be there. So it would come immediately after education. And then you should talk about certain types of trainings if you have taken any. उसके बाद अगर आपने कोई value added certifications लिया है, you know, maybe some technical certification, some certification robotics, artificial intelligence, digital marketing, or business correspondence, any type of certification, blockchain pe, machine learning pe, or maybe a particular programming language, or maybe a proper Office suite, maybe G Suite or MS Office suite. So any type of certifications, value-added programs if you have taken, then you have to mention your relevant skill set. That includes if you have any special technical abilities, that we would discuss in the next section. Don't worry, and in सबके बारे में detail में बात करेंगे. The resume should also have a proper explanation about the positions of responsibility that you have held. When I say this, अगर आप school college के student council में रहे हैं, किसी तरह की student governing council में रहे हैं, or you have been representing some club or some society within your college or beyond your college in social or community circuit. So please mention about those positions of responsibility. You volunteered for an event as a core coordinator or a core committee member, or you're associated with some sort of, these NGOs or any bodies where you have some sort of position of responsibility. Particularly, अगर आप school, college में किसी भी office bearer position पे रहे in student council, ensure that you mention it here. There are reasons why I'm insisting on all these things, and we'll discuss it in the subsequent sections. Please mention all the academic achievements and awards and honors, including your scholarships, merit certificates, proficiency rewards, any type of recognition that you have received on your academic performance, best internship, best summer project, or some sort of publications. Even engineering students are very, very active with publishing. They have their patents, they get their patents registered, they have their publications registered. So any co-scholastic or scholastic achievements, जैसे किसी project में, किसी hackathon में, या किसी भी ऐसी activity में, you have been outperforming. Then you have to please mention about any type of memberships or affiliations you have to any professional or trade body or any kind of education society or any type of youth society or group. Any type of membership or affiliation should be definitely furnished in your resume. और एक बहुत important area है. I'm very sure many of you are actively working into it, but शायद हम उसको उतना अच्छे से present नहीं कर पाते अपने resume में. That is your community services engagement. NSS, NCC और किसी तरीके का रेड क्रॉस सोसाइटी के साथ में या भारत विकास परिषद के साथ में या किसी NGO के साथ में, किसी सोशल यूनिट के साथ में, किसी गवर्नेंस बॉडी के साथ में, अगर आपने किसी भी कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट, कम्युनिटी आउटरीच, सोशल वेलफेयर और पब्लिक सर्विसेज प्रोजेक्ट में वॉलंटियर किया है और यू हैव बीन एन एक्टिव मेंबर, that should also be furnished here. A lot of academic institutions become a partner in these types of endeavors. So very quickly, friends, taking a break for some 15-20 seconds. I'll just take you to the previous slide also. Just give me a second. These were the major sections I was talking about that you should have in your resume. Need not worry, we are going to talk about individual sections in the next few minutes. So I hope you've taken a note of these sections. and also the other information that I was talking about. Here, students, till this point of time, if there is any question, any interjection, or if you want to discuss ki kuch aur add karna chahte hain, or if you have a query, should we add, certain things can be avoided or added, iske alawa ya iske saath. I would welcome your suggestions and your questions. I'll give you some 15-20 seconds to think and share your questions before we move to the next part of this presentation. I hope, Professor Devang, we are going good. Am I clearly audible? My speed and everything is good to suit the students?
Yes, yes.
So please feel free to let me know at any point of time if I need to, make some change with my language or my speed or volume, anything.
That everything is absolutely fine.
Thank you, sir. Right, friends. So any responses or any questions, or should I assume that this list is good for you or you're finding it sufficient? You don't have any suggestions if you can make any additions to it? Okay. Purvang, you're right. Can we add industrial visits? Purvang, industrial visits, wahi pe aayegi. If you go to the previous section, many education ke baad kaha na, if some sort of training or some sort of committee assignments or some committee projects, आप industrial visit लिखेंगे and उसके साथ mention करेंगे अगर आपने उस visit पे कोई project report भी बनाई है. You understand, when we take you for educational tours or educational excursions or industrial visit, we expect the students to come back and prepare a small report or a, findings or study on that. So you may write industrial visits, but try to substantiate the industrial visits with some valid kind of learnings or takeaways. आपसे कोई interviewer पूछे कि अच्छा तो आपने किया क्या था इस industrial visit में, क्या देखा, क्या समझ में आया, what have been your takeaways? So you should be very clear about it. Right? Thanks for one. It is good. You should add industrial visit. उसका heading आप लिख सकते हैं co-scholastic engagements में, or you can write, I would suggest, on industry interface. Then you can write all your projects and industrial visits. Okay? Take a title as industry interface, and then you can mention all these things. एक important चीज है जो इसमें missing है, जो मैंने जान पूछ के छोड़ी है. I was of an opinion कि शायद आप में से कोई जरूर उसके बारे में पूछेगा. I'm still waiting if somebody would ask that. मैं लिख रही हूँ chat box में. Let me see before that if anybody puts that. Yes. Yes, please. There's a question that if I have an internship of an MNC, but only for 1 week, I would suggest don't write it in an internship. You write it in some training project. Now, given a separate heading, no. So, industry interface के under आप लिख सकते हैं एक heading internship, एक heading projects, और एक heading short training programs, right? So, industry interface में major आ जाएगा internships, then you can have projects, then you can have industrial visits, and you can also have these types of short projects, right, Rohan? Rupak, skills की बात हमने लिखी है in the previous slide. Okay, Dharam has a question. Hobbies. Dharam, hobbies के बारे में भी हम बात करेंगे. वो मैंने आगे लिखा है. That I will give you with an explanation. कि किस तरीके से present करेंगे. Good. मेरा ये question है. आप chat box की तरफ देखिए. आप में से किसी ने मुझसे ये नहीं पूछा कि madam, do we need to mention our seminars, conferences, and workshops? I mean, engineering students spend a lot of their educational life in attending these types of science fairs, these workshops, these projects, seminars, conferences. आपने इसके बारे में नहीं पूछा. मैंने जानबूझ के एक चीज छोड़ी कि शायद आप पूछेंगे. So you need to be very particular about presenting this information about the seminars, conferences, and workshops, and similar type of interventions that you attend. Prince, मैं आपको अगली slide में इसका response दूंगी. Why do we avoid objective these days, and why do we prefer writing the summary over an objective? These days, most of the professionals would recommend आप objective नहीं लिखिए, summary लिखिए. Gaurav ji, your question is absolutely valid. हम hobbies नहीं लिखेंगे, interest लिखेंगे, right? So suppose you have a deep interest in gadgets, or you have a deep interest in certain programming languages, or you have an interest in app development, or somebody might have an interest in solar projects. So you may write it under the heading interest. I don't suggest ever to write hobbies, write interest. And in that interest, you can mention. And your particular area of interest, say for example, you are studying BTech computer sciences, and your core area of interest is suppose a particular programming language. So ये बात आप summary में भी लिख सकते हैं. I'll tell you how. Any other question, friends? Or are we good to move to the next section now, where we will take a detail of all these areas? Make a note of it because I've not written it on the slide deliberately. आपको seminars, conferences और workshops के बारे में जरूर लिखना है in your resume. So very quickly, one by one to individual sections. The first part of your resume should be your contact information. Certain people prefer writing contact information in center alignment of the page. A few people would even recommend taking the right alignment. Center alignment is not taken to be that kind of a professional layout. So please try that you present this information in left alignment. And if by any reason you feel that it is looking good if you align it in right alignment, it is okay. There is no problem with it. Please ensure सबसे पहले जो आएगा वो आपका नाम आएगा. If the entire font size of your document is 12, पूरे document का font size अगर आप 12 रख रहे हैं, तो you should put your name in 14. Right? At least +2 should be the font size of your name on your resume. Even more than that, you can have +4 also. Okay? And please remember, do not write your name in capitals, write your name in proper case. Proper case, as in if I put it in the chat box, it should look like this. The first alphabet of your name, first name, middle name, last name, should always be in capitals. See, I've written Shweta Jain with S capital and J capital. You'll find very surprising. आपको लगेगा मैम आप अब ये इतना basic चीज बता रहे हो. But trust me, above 70% of the resumes are found to have names listed not in proper case. Either they are in uppercase, pura capitals mein, or people even end up writing their names as in the first name would be in proper case, the middle name would be in lower case, and the last name would be in proper case. This gives a very weird impression. You don't even write your name in proper case. I often ask students, I mean, नामवाचक संज्ञा तो हम सब पढ़ के आए हैं. Proper name should be ensured when you write your own name. So please ensure your name should be the largest font and it is written in proper case. इसके बाद address लिखिए. If your address line is too lengthy, you may break it into 2 lines. Otherwise, multiple lines में address मत लिखिए. कोशिश कीजिए that you finish it within 2 lines. Your phone number should be a part of it, and please do not furnish multiple phone numbers. ये आपके बारे में एक बड़ा flickering mind वाला impression देता है. You know, having one number as your WhatsApp number, another number as your phone number, and there is an alternate number. I mean, you feel this person is fundamentally confused. So it is good to have only one number. When you write your email address, friends, please be sure your email address should essentially have your first name and last name to it. Say, for example, my email address is shwetajain3177@gmail.com. क्योंकि मुझे श्वेता जैन, श्वेता.जैन, जैन.श्वेता, श्वेता_ जैन जैसे ईमेल आईडी नहीं मिल रहे थे, तो मैंने अपने फोन नंबर के लास्ट 4 डिजिट्स ऐड कर दिए. But your email ID should essentially have your first name and last name. So you may separate it by a dot or period, or you may separate it by underscore, or you may add some numericals to it. That may be your date of birth, or maybe the last 4 digits of your phone number or anything. But I would recommend please prepare a proper email address. Don't write email address like, I am Smart Sam, or, we keep making those kind of emails. Navpreet has a question. Would city, state suffice, or we should add the full address? Navpreet, at least the main street should be added. It should be added. At least the main street, suppose if I say that you come from a place like Jaipur or you come from a place like Ahmedabad, so we should at least know you come from Navrampura or you come from Vastrapur. So this is important. So at least the area should be mentioned. And if possible, Navpreet, you should write the complete address. अगर संभव हो सके, बहुत ज़्यादा space नहीं ले रहा है. And ensure that if you put the state, there is no harm writing the PIN code also. But normally I don't advocate, avoid कर सकते. अच्छा, आजकल resume में people also put their social media links. You can find me on Twitter at this address, or you can access on LinkedIn on this. I would suggest all other social media contacts should be avoided. You should furnish only your LinkedIn contact to the best possible extent. Unless the profile is tarike ka. Suppose tomorrow you are applying for a company which is having a profile of creative designer or digital marketing or business development officer. यहाँ पे हो सकता है कि आपका इंस्टा, आपका ट्विटर अकाउंट इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, because this is a platform through which you connect with a lot of people. But in a lay person's resume, in general circumstances, I would suggest कि आप LinkedIn के अलावा दूसरे social media links लेना avoid करें, right? But LinkedIn is something you should certainly furnish in your resume. कि आपका LinkedIn पे reach out करने के लिए what is the URL, right? And date of birth, again, few people mention it here. and most of the people mention it at the end of the resume ना, personal details जैसा कोई section बना के आप अपना parents name लिख देते हैं और अपना date of birth लिख देते हैं. That is not essentially required, honestly. अगर आप उसको avoid कर रहे हैं तो first page पे ही ऊपर date of birth लिख सकते हैं. But कोशिश कीजिए this entire address, phone number, email ID, social media address and date of birth, ये सब कुछ मिला के भी आप 3-4 लाइन से ज्यादा ना बनाएं. आप हो सकता है थोड़ा टैब पे लाइन में लिखते हैं email and phone number or maybe your email and your social media URL. So don't make it beyond 4 lines or 5 lines. बहुत ज्यादा नहीं करें. ऐसा नहीं हो कि almost 1/4 of your page is occupied only with your contact details and too big a font size. No, it's a big no-no. Only your name should be in 14, बाकी सब 12 में रखिए. Limited spacing रखिए इसके बीच में और छोटे से हिस्से में complete कीजिए. Moin, it is a good question. Signature की जरूरत बिल्कुल नहीं होती है. Signature is, it is a digital signature, so it can be misused. Don't use signature. Image add करना normally depend करता है कि recruiter interested है या नहीं. Suppose अगर आप campus placement के लिए opportunity के लिए try कर रहे हैं and you're presenting your candidature, most of the times the recruiters ask for a photograph. In case you've not been asked, that is a different thing. Otherwise, a small photo, if left aligned करके आप contact information तो right alignment ना advertised resumes for students, then they do it. Rajesh, don't worry, we'll come to summary. Summary के बाद आएगा. Line दे सकते हो. Line would clarify कि बस यहाँ से अब आपका resume शुरू हो जाता है after contracting. Right? So you can put a very thin line or a very dotted lines or fancy lines, a straight thin line which is not very bold in color, बहुत thickness भी ज़्यादा नहीं हो, और उसके बाद you can start with the next section, which is summary. Coming to summary, students, people have different styles of writing summary. आजकल बहुत different fancy styles में भी summary लिखने लगते हैं. Some people would write summary in italics, तो आपके पूरे document से थोड़ी अलग दिखती है. I've even seen certain people writing summary, side में एक very nicely you prepare a slide page के right side एक लंबा सा rectangle, जैसे भी हमारा chat box दिख रहा है या ये participants का view दिख रहा है उस तरह का, and they write a summary in that. Italics में लिख सकते हैं या थोड़ा अलग से font में लिख सकते हैं. I would not recommend taking a different font style. Italics may still be tried. Some people do one thing, एक text box जैसा बनाते हैं शुरू में, उसको left में लगाते हैं, तो और maybe right में लगाते हैं. तो left में आपने qualifications लिखा, right में एक summary जैसा लिख दिया. कुछ नहीं करना चाहते हैं तो simple summary लिख के एक normal, in the first section of your resume you may write. अब मैं आपको समझाती हूँ summary में क्या है और objective हम क्यों नहीं लिखते हैं. Objective हम इसलिए नहीं लिखते हैं कि objective appears to be like a competition of English language. Some flowery words. So I want to contribute to a growth-oriented organization with my abilities and skills. I mean, does that really make any relevance to the recruiter? Precisely not. And objective, it is a very dynamic and evolving concept. You have just started your career. You will enter into a job. You may enjoy it. You may develop alternative interest. You may make a switch. You may try some other line. तो अभी आप उस स्टेज में ही नहीं है कि आप ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखें. एंड आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है इससे कंपनी को बहुत फर्क नहीं पड़ता. कंपनी इज मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन नोइंग व्हाट डू यू हैव इन स्टोर टू ऑफर टू देम. सपोज इफ आई राइट अ समरी आई वुड राइट इट लाइक educationist and academic administrator with over 17 years of experience and profound interest in employee training and development, full stop, actively engaged in training interventions with special proclivity for designing and delivering modules, avid interest in तो आप रेज्यूमे में ये लिख रहे हैं आप क्या हैं, किस फील्ड में काम करना चाहते हैं, क्या आपकी स्पेशलिटीज है या किस तरह के प्रोजेक्ट्स पे. लाइक अगर आप स्टूडेंट हैं और आप सिंपली लिखें से इंजीनियरिंग स्कॉलर pursuing BTech computer science with special interest in robotics, looking forward to a career in the field of designing and projects, designing and executing projects related to robotics and blended intelligence. तो आपको ज्यादा पता है वो जो कीवर्ड्स हैं आपके डोमेन के वो आपकी समरी में दिखने चाहिए. इनफैक्ट जिनके पास एक्सपीरियंस होता है वो तो बहुत अच्छे से लिख पाते हैं किन एरियाज में यू वर्कड इन स्ट्रैटेजिक डिजाइनिंग एंड यू वर्कड ऑन these types of projects with these types of industries over these many years. Since you are all freshers, so just suppose मैं एक छोटा example देती हूँ. Suppose if there's a management student, I teach MBA students, so there's some student who's studying human resource management. So he or she may write a human resource scholar with avid interest in talent acquisition, contrivance, aspiring for a career in human resource function, in designing and executing recruitment strategies to identify the right kind of talent for organizations. So this clearly gives an idea that person human resource में specialized है और talent acquisition domain में जानना चाहता है, particularly when it comes to recruitment, right? So जिस चीज में आपका special expertise है, and please remember, never ever write in first or second form. I am an avid learner is a crime. आप इसे थर्ड फॉर्म में लिखते हैं, इसे हम कहते हैं टेलीग्राफिक स्टाइल. आप शायद जानते भी नहीं होंगे, पहले टेलीग्राम्स बहुत चलते थे ना, टेलीग्राफ्स एंड टेलीग्राम कम्युनिकेशन. तो आप कैसे लिखते थे? आप ऐसे टेलीग्राम नहीं भेजते थे, तुम्हारे पिताजी का स्थानांतरण हो गया है और योर फादर हैज बीन प्रमोटेड. You simply write father transferred. So you simply write father transferred. मतलब आप ये conjunctions, prepositions, articles, connectives ये सब नहीं लिखते. आप थर्ड फॉर्म में लिखते हैं स्ट्रेट अवे इस तरीके से लिखते हैं, which is like a telegraphic style. So you may write a strategic thinker with over 17 years of experience in designing turnkey projects for power industry, with a set of clientele, working on international power projects. So यहाँ पे आपने बताया कि किस टाइप की चीजों पे आपने काम किया है. Now suppose I'm a maybe a computer science engineer, as I told you, or you're an engineer in the area of data sciences. So you're right, a data sciences engineer aspiring for a role in the particular solutions or softwares or platforms on which you are proficient. So is it clear, students, कि आपकी summary ऐसी हो which gives the employer a clarity about what you can offer to them or what you are capable of doing or what can they consider you for? Any questions in summary? Anything anyone wishes to ask? Or have I made the idea clear that summary statement लिखिए, objective मत लिखिए, summary में clarity आ जाता है कि आप क्या हैं और क्या offer कर सकते हैं. Any questions, students? Okay, thank you, Nikhil. So we also have limitation of time और बाकी sections भी करने, तो मैं थोड़ा सा speed up करती हूँ. Next would be work experience, and I'm again saying that please do not write work experience first if you do not have 3-4 years of experience. मैं पहले ही आगे चली जाती हूँ. आप पहले education लिखिए. Work experience would come only in that case when you have a very significant work experience. Otherwise, यहाँ पे education पहले आएगा. When I write education, please remember, maximum students write education in a tabular format. कोई problem नहीं है. आप लिखिए. कई इंस्टीट्यूशंस का स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड फॉर्मेट ही ऐसा होता है कि आप टेबल में लिखिए. कभी कभी मैं स्टूडेंट्स को सजेस्ट करती हूँ, अगर आपको टैबुलर फॉर्मेट बहुत जेनेरिक लग रहा है, टेबल बनाइए. प्लीज इंसर्ट एंड फर्निश ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन इन द टेबल so that the layout, alignment and everything is perfect, and then select the table and make it no border or clear borders. तो क्या होगा? The alignment is tabular, the arrangement is tabular, it looks good, but वो grid lines नहीं दिखेंगी rows और columns के, so it looks a little evolved and more, classy and mature. But ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. If you have a standard format in your institution where you present it in tabular format, it is okay to go. Okay, and please remember, don't write multiple details in your education section. First, program. Program as in BTech, or you may simply write course oblique program. Then you should write the name of the university oblique board. कॉलेज की बजाय यूनिवर्सिटी या बोर्ड का नाम लिखिए, अनलेस कि आपका कॉलेज बहुत ही रेप्यूटेड कॉलेज हो. लाइक योर कॉलेज इज अ वेरी रेप्यूटेड कॉलेज इन द एंटायर वेस्ट जोन, so you should write your college name also. So you may select college का नाम, but essentially when you write your class 10, class 12, board जरूर लिखिए. 10th और 12th में स्कूल का नाम लिखिए ना लिखिए, बोर्ड का नाम लिखना ज्यादा जरूरी होता है. And then year of completion, किस साल में कंप्लीट किया है. लास्ट सेक्शन में भी क्यूमुलेटिव स्कोर. कई लोग बीच में एक सेक्शन डालते हैं स्पेशलाइजेशन, राइट, और मे बी डिसिप्लिन. Like suppose you have taken B.Tech, तो आप discipline या specialization में लिख सकते हो what is your area of expertise, किस में? Like suppose management में भी write तो MBA, after MBA we write finance and marketing or finance and business intelligence. So that is your area of specialization. And Madhav, if you want to write about yourself in the place of somebody, please ensure don't write in first and second form. So I am this, ऐसा नहीं होता. I, me, you जैसे words resumes में नहीं होते. Write it in third form. And writing about us is also, don't write abstract things about you or the softer aspects, that I am a hardworking person or a hardworking, motivated individual driven for performance. No, this is all very vague. मतलब कोई interest नहीं है recruiter का इसमें. Precisely when you're writing about yourself, write tangibles about yourself. You know, tangibles as in you're expert in this field and you're aspiring for this. You have an expertise in data sciences. Okay. Moin writes, can I write B.Tech mechanical in discipline? Yes, Moin, you can write. You can write. So year of completing या year of passing लिखेंगे, पूरा नहीं लिखते हैं 2018-21 batch or 2018-22 batch. You will only write the last, the final year of your graduation. And cumulative score, or you may write CGPA/percentage. ये आप सिर्फ तब लिखेंगे when your percentage or CGPA is really good. No doctor has prescribed that if you don't write your percentage in your resume तो किसी का blood pressure बढ़ जाएगा. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. In case you do not have that encouraging or that promising kind of percentage or grades, do not write. कोई problem नहीं. Only if you have really, you know, those kind of scores that can draw the attention or create a strong prospect for you, so उस तरह का score लिखिए. और अगर कोई course work है साथ में, course work से मेरा मतलब है, you know, a lot of education in India now have management thesis or dissertation or final project submission or maybe some sort of specific coursework or community project. ऐसा कुछ है तो वो भी mention कीजिए. उसे टेबल में मेंशन करना जरूरत नहीं है, टेबल के नीचे मेंशन कर सकते हैं. नाउ प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, और टेबल में या जो भी तरीके से आपने लिखा वहां पे तो आप प्रोग्राम लिखेंगे, यूनिवर्सिटी और बोर्ड लिखेंगे, ईयर ऑफ कंप्लीशन, एंड देन यू विल राइट योर क्यूमुलेटिव स्कोर. Immediately after this, you will use 2-3 statements. One, where you will write if you have earned any prominent scholarship. Prominent scholarship, as in you may write, earned scholarship, merit scholarship throughout graduation. My नहीं लिखेंगे. So you may write earned merit scholarship throughout graduation, or you may say felicitated with so and so award. आपकी academic अगर कोई scholarships या उस तरीके के accomplishments हैं, and also the dissertation or the major project you have submitted. Don't write those small dissertation projects. Please write major dissertation या कोई thesis या कोई major project आपने इसके साथ submit किया है, which is an evaluation component. Please understand. Additional projects, trainings वगैरह तो हम आगे लिखेंगे. Education के साथ आप सिर्फ वो project लिखेंगे जो आपका evaluated project था. A thesis, a dissertation, an evaluated project, something like that. If it is a part of your 3-year, 4-year program, तो ये आप definitely लिखेंगे. Right? Any questions here, people, or I can move to the next section? Nafreet, they do accept. इसको हम आगे लिखेंगे. Proper education में नहीं लिखेंगे. And don't use the title as qualifications. Simply write the title as education. And यहाँ पे तो आप अपना graduation, 12, 10 ये सब लिखिए. Reverse chronological order में. That is the recent education coming first. ये जो online certifications हैं और value added skills development courses हैं, इन्हें हम आगे लिखेंगे. Nafreet, we are going to talk about it. Right? As I said, if there is anybody who has a work experience, then you may write it again in a reverse chronological order. When I say reverse chronological order, how do you write it? The last job would be furnished first. It's been normally 4-5 components of the job title. That if you were working as relationship manager, or you were working as quality management engineer, or you were working as production designer. So it would be a job title, followed by the name of the organization, the location, yeah, Ahmedabad में थे, सूरत में थे, भरूच में थे. Period of employment, that is कब से कब तक आपने वहाँ काम किया. Please do not write date. Right? May 2016 to July 2017. Don't write 1st May, 3rd May. ये सब नहीं. Description is basically, what were your key roles and responsibilities. कई बार ऐसा होता that you were not in a full-time job, but you were on a 6 months project with the company, or you were on some, year-long project with the company. In that case, write project title instead of job title. Location, organization सब same रहेगा. Period of employment की बजाय आप लिख सकते project tenure or the duration of project or the timelines. And in description, you will not write description, you write project details. As in, what was the area, what were the key outcomes or findings of the project, what were the major learnings and takeaways in the project. And I would insist that आप अपनी सारी achievements quantified format में. Quantified as in, suppose you have a work experience and you write as handling a team of 11 development managers catering to a set of 20 clients across a period of 3 years. So clarity कि आपने 3 साल में अलग-अलग 20 clients के projects पे काम किया with a team of 11 people. Or you may say coordinated relationship for more than 100 clients across a period of 3 years coming from investment, investment services to your organization kind of thing. So please, if it is possible, आप quantify करके लिखिए information. Coming to the next part. अब आप क्या-क्या लिखते हैं? Okay. Rohan writes, if I have an experience of less than a month, then you should not add duration. You should just write June 2019. That can be the, or bracket में लिख दो 1 month. Okay. Now, once you have written about education and work experience, अब आप एक title ले सकते हैं industry interface. Or you may write industry experience. यहाँ पे आप लाइए जो आपके शॉर्ट एम्प्लॉयमेंट्स हैं या शॉर्ट इंडस्ट्री प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं या फिर इंटर्नशिप्स हैं. 45 days, 48 days, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. कहीं कहीं तो इंजीनियरिंग में 3 महीने से ज्यादा का भी इंटर्नशिप प्रोजेक्ट हो जाता है. अब देखिए, डोंट गो ऑन द टर्मिनोलॉजी. मैं अब आपको सिर्फ ये बता रही हूँ कि ये चीजें लिखनी जरूरी है. Projects oblique trainings लिखेंगे when you have done it with a company or an organization. Here you will mention what was the topic, what was the duration, what was the main, domain in which you did, what were the key findings and learnings or the outcomes that you have to mention. And again, किसी ने जो question पूछा था, अब आप लिखिए licenses, certifications और accreditations. यहाँ mention करेंगे आप अपने Udemy से, Swam portal से, NPTEL से, Coursera से, V-Skills से, multiple bodies that offer a lot of professional certifications. जब भी आप certification लिखेंगे, 3 चीजों का ध्यान रखिए. Proper तरीके से लिखिए उस certification course का नाम. Suppose it is a certification like a certified equity analyst. Certified का C capital, equity का E capital, analyst का E capital. पहले पूरा नाम लिखेंगे certification का, right? Certified equity analyst from जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से लिया है सर्टिफिकेशन उसका पूरा नाम और ब्रैकेट्स में जून 2019. That means जब आपने ये कंप्लीट किया है. Is it clear, friends? Whenever you write value-added certifications or programs, you first write the name of the certification course, followed by the name of the body or organization that you have taken it from, and in the bracket you need to mention the month and year. Nothing more than that, right? ये भी लिखने की जरूरत नहीं कि 1 साल के लिए वैलिड है कि 3 साल के लिए वैलिड है. It's not required. Then you will create a section of Nafreet, it would be good if you have 3-4 certifications with you, then make a separate section. It is always recommended. It captures the attention of the recruiter or the employer that yes, there is a substantial information about this. Please mention all your major achievements, accomplishments, any distinguished awards, honors, general proficiency, merit certification, state level government award, or university level gold medalist, or campus level. So any accomplishments or achievements, best summer internship project, or best junior science research project, or general proficiency award in this area, or certificate of merit in this. इस तरीके के अचीवमेंट्स अकम्प्लिशमेंट्स जरूर मेंशन कीजिए, अच्छे से कीजिए, पूरा लिख के. आप लोग क्या करते हैं नॉर्मली एक्रोनिम्स या एब्रिविएशंस लिख देते हो. और देन AISM. अब क्या है AISM? Anybody would know what is the AISM, but do we really want them to get confused? Please write the complete name, brackets में acronym या abbreviation. Then if you are a membership, you have any membership or affiliation. Say for instance, you are associated with the Engineers Society of India or the Young Engineers Council of India. I'm not saying ऐसे कोई body है क्या है. Management में I can recommend कि हाँ इन bodies से. I'm not even suggesting every student should have a membership. But अगर आप किसी भी क्लब, काउंसिल, एजुकेशनल बॉडी, प्रोफेशनल बॉडी, ट्रेड एसोसिएशन के मेंबर हैं or you are affiliated to any of these groups, please mention it. अब आएंगी activities and honors. Here when I say activities and honors, I'm talking about all co-scholastic activities. And please remember, ये आप सिर्फ तब लिखेंगे जब या तो आप किसी क्लब को या किसी ग्रुप को और अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी और कॉलेज को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं at district level, state level, national level, or you have been actively practicing or participating in this, or you have some certificate of achievement or merit in this, or you have been showcasing this ability of yours on different platforms. Suppose if you write, yoga trainer for so and so, or if you write basketball player representing the college team at state level at 3 state level tournaments. So कोई भी activities या honors है, photography में है, fine arts में है, performing arts में है, performing arts like performing music and different forms of other arts, or if it is into robotics, or if it is into some sort of technology, or if it is into some app development, or if it is into fitness and sports को तो definitely importance दीजिए, please make it. यहाँ पे आप सिर्फ activities and honors में वहाँ लिख रहे जहाँ पे you can also write it as co-scholastic engagements or extra-curricular engagements. So wherever, debate, public speaking, or any kind of business plan competition, or science project competition, or hackathons, इस तरह के जो भी आपके achievement है, and please don't write those generic pedestrian run-of-the-mill achievements, only those that are significant, that talk about you in a very, discreet manner, that yes, it is noticeable about you. Okay? अगर किसी को भी कोई foreign language आती है, there's some important third language like you're proficient with German or Korean or Mandarin or Japanese or Spanish, so you may mention your foreign language proficiency also. आप लोग तो साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के ही स्टूडेंट्स हैं, अदरवाइज हम मेंशन करते हैं कि आप अपनी आईसीटी स्किल्स भी अलग से लिख सकते हैं, दैट इज इंफॉर्मेशन एंड कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी स्किल्स. इफ यू आर गुड विद सर्टेन प्लेटफॉर्म्स लाइक G Suite or MS Office Suite, you are good with some applications like some particular ERP solution or something like that. If you're good with some programming language or some sort of platforms, please mention that. In your case, it is expected that you people know it. एक अच्छा section should be about applications and presentations. अगर कोई मेजर एक्टिविटी नहीं है तो कोशिश कीजिए कि कुछ चीजें, if not much, at least some there are certifications from very good professional bodies of 15 days, 1 month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. You still have time. You just enter September. Take up some certifications that you can complete by the end of October and add it to your resume. Meanwhile, please attend some webinars or some seminars or some events that can be presented in your resume. Abhi to web platforms you can easily do it. So if in case you have done any publications or any presentations on some conference or somewhere on a very, proper formal platform, please mention about that. Don't mention those classroom presentations and all. Some formal platform if you have made some significant presentation. I always recommend students, please take good effort to be into community services, voluntary services, social development programs, or mention कीजिए. You've been coordinating blood donation camps, or you have Red Cross Society of India, NCC, NSS का अगर exposure है तो please लिखिए. अपने स्कूल कॉलेज में स्टूडेंट काउंसिल में कहीं मेंबर रहे हैं, रिप्रेजेंटेटिव रहे हैं, the head girl, head boy, president of the school or college, or you have been into the student council as secretary or treasurer or student development kind of thing, please mention that. Okay? And as I said, seminars, conference, workshops 50 की होंगी, वो मेंशन कीजिए जो सब्सटैंशियल है, जिसमें आपको पार्टिसिपेशन सर्टिफिकेट मिला है. अगर पार्टिसिपेशन सर्टिफिकेट नहीं भी मिला है तो the topic seems to be good enough that presents about your knowledge and your awareness and your being learning it. Now coming to this section, इसके बारे में मुझसे हमेशा पूछते हैं, ma'am, should I write about my hobbies? I would suggest students, please don't write the word hobbies. Hobbies सुनते ही दिमाग में एक ऐसी फीलिंग आती है जैसे leisure time and this person has time to nurture certain hobbies. Talk in terms of interest. Interest थोड़ा ज़्यादा refined term, although it corresponds to hobbies only, but it is a more evolved term. When you write interest, I would suggest मैंने एक partial सी list दी है. आप interest में लिखिए if you have interest in sketching, if you have interest in designing solutions, if you have interest in automobile industry, if you have interest in browsing or exploring about geopolitical issues. Some people have a lot of interest in these puzzles and brain teasers and brain games and mind benders के लिखिए, right, working on brain twisters. Sports and fitness का interest is the prime interest that you should write. But suppose if you write that you are an avid football lover, imagine बहुत से पूछेंगे which club do you follow, who according to you is the most classic player, then you say नहीं सर मुझे इतना नहीं पता है, मैं तो अपनी कॉलोनी में खेलता हूँ, क्या, I mean, why have you written it in this? When you are not very updated, which are the best clubs and which are the prominent players and who are the most high on achievement and those distinguished players that you should. So sports, fitness, video games. I'm not talking about these regular video games. I say video games which are intelligent, where there is a lot of learning, or in games के साथ आप कुछ creation कर सकते हो. Web surfing, आप mention कीजिए किन areas में you like web surfing. What do you generally spend time? Music, dance, and other forms only if you're performing on formal platforms and doing good. You may write about your reading interests. You may write about your interest on gadgets. You may mention about your interest on synthesizing or creating something or some sort of technology interest. ऐसे interest जो किसी को बताएं तो कम से कम वो हमारे बारे में एक refined impression दें. Please focus on this. Just a few more minutes. Certain things जो आपके resume में you need to be very careful about. Don't drag it beyond 2 pages. पूरा 2 pages. It should be only under the situation where you have a lot of information to present in your resume. Don't make it that you have increased the font size and line spacing and then you take it to 2 pages. That looks very, immature. So have a limited line spacing of 1.12. Font size is good. The border should be, the margin should be normal and there should be no border in the resume. Okay? So 1.5 pages when you write in telegraphic style in third person. As I said, I am a this nahi likhte hain. Suppose if you want to write, I am a student of BTech Mechanical. No, write BTech Mechanical Scholar. That's it. जैसे पैसा लग रहा है हर वर्ड का, ऐसे assume करो. Every single word that you write in extra is being charged for. So ये prepositions, conjunctions, connectives, ये सब नहीं. Okay, Madhav writes travel, coding, outdoor sports. Certainly, Madhav, you should write all. Very good. I mean, these are good interests. And please do not use borders in your resume. You should be very particular that the font size is only between 10 to 12. Certain fonts like Arial, huge दिखते हैं, 12 में बहुत बड़े दिखते हैं, वो 10 में sufficient है. At the same time, Calibri is good in 12. Cambria is good in 11. So you also look at the font type. No, 10 से 12 के बीच में रखें, but 12 सिर्फ तब रखें when the font looks very small in 10. For regular fonts like Vadana and Arial, 12 is a big font size, But Times New Roman, Calibri would look good in 12. I would suggest Trebuchet and Bookman style and Cambria look good in 11 also. Okay? So इन्हीं में से लेना, बहुत fancy font नहीं लेना. These are certain fonts which are good. Cambria भी ले सकते हो. Ensure that your entire resume has only one font style. Heading किसी और में लिखते हो, text किसी और में लिखते हो, heading को capital में लिखते हो, heading को underline कभी नहीं करेंगे. Whatever you wish to write in heading, सिर्फ bold करेंगे. उसको font size would be as much as the regular text. The only thing that you would do is उसको bold कर सकते या capital कर सकते. Even capital I would not recommend. I would recommend just bold. Okay? Font style should be common. Font size should be common. Unnecessarily bold मत कीजिए. Only some significant information or an important keyword you can bold. Any important keyword, certificate of achievement bold कर सकते हैं. I'm sorry, italics के बाद मुझसे 2 slash लग गए हैं. Italics नहीं लिखें ज़्यादा, ध्यान करें कि बहुत ही important जो हो. जो चीजें proper case में लिखिए, like name of the organization, name of the certificate, name of the event, name of individuals, name of the organization where you've done an internship, location. ये सब proper case में होता है. इसमें हर word का first alphabet is capital, avoiding prepositions and conjunctions. Okay? ये बहुत बड़ा mistake है which organizations often करते हैं. How do they write such important information without ensuring proper case? Please do not use number statements. 1, 2, 3, 4 नहीं. अगर आपको points में कुछ लिखना है, like suppose you're writing about your internship, organization, duration, project title, key learnings, all these should be bullet points. Don't write in number forms. Okay? Underline is a big no-no. किसी resume में कहीं भी underline नहीं करते, बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. कुछ चीजें जो आपको बिल्कुल लिखनी नहीं चाहिए. मैरिटल स्टेटस लिखने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Nationality, unless it is a multinational and they are looking for some Overseas assignment, why do you write your nationality? You're Indian and everybody knows it. So don't write marital status or nationality is not required. Fancy fonts avoid kijiye. Don't put a border on the paper. Please do not write the word resume or CV on the top. Don't use statements with I, me, my, something like that. Abbreviations avoid kijiye, acronyms avoid kijiye. Don't write like people start writing working with NBSC. What is the NBSC? Write the complete name of the organization. References तब तक नहीं लिखते हैं जब तक आपसे मांगे ना जाए. Please do not put references unless you are asked for. Don't mention about any of your religious or political affiliations or church affiliations or any type of religious body affiliations. That doesn't sound good. And somewhere I've written action words, if you can see. Write everything in action words. Right? Let's suppose coordinated, volunteered, managed, generated, executed. ऐसे word से शुरू करो. Suppose you're active in student club. So you write, coordinated a team of 10 people for student club at university level. So please use action words like coordinated, managed, maintained, developed, executed, volunteered, earned, rewarded, secured, ऐसे terms से शुरू कीजिए. Okay, and that's it. The last slide, ये कुछ नए concepts हैं which have become very popular these days. I would recommend please try them. There are a lot of websites that would help you prepare digital resume. In general, freshers should not prepare a digital resume. But in case a company requests you to prepare a digital resume, you may try it. These have those some very designed the boxes and all placed on the paper, some arts and smart those blocks, flow charts, and type of things. But it is good if you prepare a proper resume instead of digital resume, unless you've been asked for. Video resume, friends, I would recommend each one of you should essentially try preparing a video resume. कुछ नहीं करना है. All what that you write in your resume, imagine if you were not writing on your resume and you're supposed to say this to someone. So suppose if I prepare a video resume writing, hi, I'm Shweta Jain and I am an educationist by profession with a profound interest in training and development. I've also been working in a lot of administrative roles in education. My key interest areas are human resource development, organizational behavior, and soft skills. My qualifications include this. I have worked on these kinds of projects. So आप 1 minute, don't put up 1 minute तो खैर बिल्कुल possible नहीं है. 3 minutes to 5 minutes का video बनाइए. When you have a good background, you're wearing a formal dress, you're looking good, take a good posture, stand and use your gestures effectively and speak about yourself as if you are presenting your resume. Don't read your resume. Present in a very, smart style. And many of the recruiters would now ask for a video resume. Seek help from your faculties and your soft skills trainer. Try preparing a video resume. It may not happen in one go. You may take it multiple times. Okay. And also ensure that every time when you share your resume through email to somebody, also write a small covering letter or some text in the email where you write that basic things about yourself, your qualifications, your areas of specialization, your key achievements, and what are you applying for. Okay, there's a question from Gaurav. Can you elaborate the essential or optional? Gaurav, if I quickly go back to my ये essentials है. Contact information, summary, if you have a work experience or internships लिखना essential है. Education, the projects, trainings and certifications that you have attended, the seminars or conferences that you have attended, any relevant skills. So जैसे कोई technical proficiency कोई चीज आती है या कोई foreign language आती है. If you've worked on any position of responsibility in the student council or maybe in some other body, with honors, achievements, accomplishments, certificates, or proficiency awards, membership affiliations, and community services engagement. इनमें से I would say जो हर resume में होना चाहिए is contact information, summary, education, educational achievements, internships and projects, any other certifications that you have done, and co-curricular achievements. ये important. Now, somebody writes, I have 15 national certificates of outdoor sports and 3 NCC certificates. No, don't mention all. Write prolific contributor in outdoor sports or avid sports person with over 15 national level certificates on different sports like so. एक sentence में ये number mention कर दीजिए, पर अच्छे से frame कीजिए sentence को. And you're right, I'm a volunteer in NCC with 3 major certifications, 2 credentials, achieve greatness. Right? Any other questions, friends? PDF of this presentation? I'll discuss it with the organizing team. Amit sir, I'm done from my side. If anyone has a question, we can continue. Else, we can please request the answer to decide how we can close.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I'm requesting all participants, if you have any questions or any suggestions, you can write in chat box or you can unmute yourself and share your feedback or your questions.
Okay, a couple of questions.
There was
Any
one
sample
question.
resume from your side? Friends, a lot of sample resumes are available on internet, and if there is a need, I would connect with your faculty member. If I have interest in global affairs and international business, should I write in the area of interest? You should certainly write. Definitely, you should write. Yes, sir.
There
I
was
think
one
I'm
more
done with the
question.
questions also.
Yes, sir, please.
Declaration is required at last.
I'm sorry, sir. I probably missed that question. I'll try to scroll.
A declaration is required at last.
No. Absolutely not. Normally, what happens is, if it is a campus placement, it is going through the institution. So, institution की अपनी credibility enough है. So, we generally don't need to write declaration. These days, declaration and references are such which organizations do not solicit. Unless they give you a format and they ask you to put a reference or declaration. They are two different things, but declaration is also not required unless they very specifically ask for it. Yes, Navpreet, you don't write hobbies and interests. And I would suggest, if not hobbies and interests, you may simply write interests or areas of interest or interest areas. You may write interest areas. Right, Amit sir, I think.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for a wonderful session and interactive session. And thank you, Devang sir, for giving a platform to ICFI Business School to interact with your students. And the students was very interactive. I hope they got more information regarding on the resume building, effective resume building, and they will get advantage in future of this session. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So on behalf of entire ABIT team and my coordinators and co-coordinator teams, I also like to thank Madam Shweta Madam for having an excellent session. Okay, very crisp details was been covered, what to do, what not to do, and what to start with, what to end up with. Thank you very much, Madam. I think student has taken it in a very positive way, and they will take care of all the details that you have shared. So thank you, entire Vishal and Ahmedabad team for doing this session. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir, and best wishes to all the students. Do well and grow in your career and your personal lives. Best wishes, people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Can you able to share this session recording with us?
Sure, I will share this video recording to Devang sir on his email ID. So Devang sir will send you.
Okay, thank you. Sir.
Okay,
I have everyone's email address. Once I will receive, I will immediately forward it to you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Now I will end the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.